addiction, international terrorism, freeway killers.
Babes in Toyland.
Now, more than ever,
it is important to remember the true meaning of Christmas.
Hey everybody, producer Dale_A here, and I just wanted to start the podcast by saying we really did it this time, haven't we? The choice was left to the villagers, and unfortunately, one of our own had to be the tiebreaker in this mess. It's not his fault that Babes in Toyland was picked. The fact that it was one of the top 3 choices for 70mm to end this cursed year. It's like poetry. But these guys, these hosts, they're professional. They look past this and they put together quite an episode for you sweet folks to listen to this holiday season. I hope we can all learn from this. We certainly have taken what we've learned internally and are workshopping on how to do better and how to handle situations like these when prompted to create magic out of something like Babes in Toyland. The bottom line is we've learned something from this. So if anything is a positive, that's what we need to focus on here. And you're still going to be entertained no matter what. And just look at the bright side. At least one of the guys didn't have to pick apart a Christmas story. I don't think anybody could handle that. Not this year. So let it be. Carry on for the birds and leave it at that. We're moving past this episode. We're moving past and looking forward into another great year of 70mm. On a serious note, happy holidays to everyone who have supported the show. Danny, Protolexis, and Slim are completely driven, and it's all thanks to the VHS Villagers. Whether you're a patron or not, it means a ton that you guys support and listen week in and week out. So for that, happy holidays, happy new year, and here is to a much, much better 2021. Love you.
Hey, it's your old pal Slim, and this is 70mm, a podcast for film lovers. Every Monday, I'm joined by famous artist Danny Haas.
I didn't write a list. I told you this movie was not worthy of taking any notes down.
And writer, poet, Protolexis.
Well, like, why does anybody have a mortgage in Toyland? Why is that like the crux of what's going on? Her shoe has a mortgage?
And together as friends forever, we discuss recently watched movies. Later in this episode, as voted by our Discord, we're focusing on Babes in Toyland from 1986. Is this the end of the podcast as we know it? Stay tuned. You heard it to start the episode. Let's just get right into it. The vibe right now for this episode is similar to that of like when you're walking to a funeral. You know, just the kind of feelings that you're going through for Babes in Toyland as voted by the Discord. You know, we have a Discord you can join if you head to our Patreon, $4 a month, talk movies, get discounts on merch, 20% off. It's well worth it, IMO. But this episode, we're going to be talking about Babes in Toyland starring Keanu Reeves, Drew Barrymore. We're going to get into it. But I want to get a pulse of the room real quick.
Oh, okay.
Proto, before we even get to the segment, you know, maybe it's something, I don't know if you've been dreading, looking forward to. Do you want to just give the pulse for this podcast?
The pulse. You know, at times, someone can appear dead, but still have a heartbeat, can't be detected. Breath can't be recognized by conventional means. But life is still there. That's where I feel like we're at right now. People might think this could be the end, or, you know, could be dead, but I think there's still a little bit of life in us. And I think we'll get through this.
There's been a lot of talk on social media. Is this the end? You know, not just of Discord voting for movies, but in the podcast in general. Danny, you've probably been getting DMs, not because of your Star Wars Celebration art and stuff, but mainly about Babes in Toyland this week.
I won't check those DMs. There's no way I'm talking to anybody privately about this movie besides you two. Not possible.
Oh, gosh. Caleb says in Discord, the room is dead. This Art's predicting an episode at 30 minutes, including voicemails. That's never happened before in a full episode. Could this be the one? We mentioned Danny's big celebration art. You can get that. I think we linked to it. I don't even know if it's going to be available by the time this episode posts, so it's on you if you missed out. But we also mentioned last week, we sold out of the director's set of pins. You can still get individual pins for right now. Maybe by the time this episode posts, they'll be sold out. I don't know. But if you did want to get a discount on those pins, you can do so at patreon.com/70mm. We got a big show. You know, it's the first time I ever said that and it felt like a lie. But Frodo, what did you watch this week?
In between Babes and Toyland, I was able to watch one movie. I was able to continue my alien journey and watch the 4th installment, Alien Resurrection, starring, of course, Sigourney Weaver,
Queen,
Winona Ryder, and one, what's his face? Ron Perlman. This was in, 1997. So this is my first viewing of this. I have finally completed the quadrilogy of Alien. I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. The thing, having now watched 4 of them sequentially in the past 4 months, the thing that's most striking to me is how they were able to continue to evolve the story and take it in new and interesting and compelling directions. While I don't, this doesn't have the same writers throughout all of these or the same, it's directed by a different person each movie, but there's still like this thread between all of them of just continuing Ripley's story in really fascinating ways. And this is a pretty bold direction this story goes in. I don't want to spoil it if anybody hasn't seen it. But really cool ideas and extremely dark portions of this movie that I wasn't expecting. I was like taken aback at some of the stuff that was going on screen. I mean, I loved it. I thought it was like, wow, this is really bold, but I loved it. But it does have some like wacky goofiness, gave me some like bad 90s action movie vibes at certain points that I was like, ugh, this I could have done without going in this direction. I wish it would have stayed a little bit more, I don't know, like sober or I don't know, serious in some ways. But I had a fun time and I would definitely watch this again. Probably another 10 years. I'll watch them all again.
I just had to pull up mine. I gave it 4 stars. So I enjoyed this too. Because I had just recently done my first Alien watch through maybe last year. And I thought this was pretty fun. Is this the Joss Whedon one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Disgraced Joss Whedon. I mean, he did just get canned because of that Justice League investigation. That we'll let the courts decide, but disgrace probably safe to say. Did you know, Pro, that this was the director of Amelie?
Yeah, I did.
Holy
I was like, whoa,
that.
that's nuts that it's him directing this. You can kind of get a sense of it. I feel like there's some of these actors are also French, and
Ron Perlman.
Maybe he pulled this in. Yeah, Ron, noted French actor.
Is he the white Idris Elba? He's in a lot of stuff. He's in like, you throw a shoe in a video store, you're going to hit a Ron Perlman movie. I watched a Guillermo del Toro movie. He was in it too. Is he in every Guillermo movie?
Oh, well, yeah. Those two.
No.
They're like, thick as thieves.
Peas in a pod.
Yeah. Caleb in Discord, when the xenomorph puts its tongue through that guy's head, spoilers. I will say, first of all,
is it a tongue?
It's something. I'm not sure if we mentioned it yet on the show, but Caleb in Discord does a podcast with a friend of ours, Jim Lynn, specifically about Transformers, Lost Light. So if you're a Transformers fan, by all means, check out their podcast. I'll have a link to it in the show notes. But the aliens in this movie, I thought looked awesome compared to Alien 3. They like the way that they had them hidden in a containment unit and like came out of the shadows and stuff. Every shot with the aliens looked awesome, I thought. Way better than the last movie.
Oh yeah. Much better. Yeah. The effects looked really good. I mean, they look just like completely BA. The when they're in that containment tank, the three of them, and the dude is up against the glass. Whew, man, that is like I was like nervous watching that scene. But it just, I mean, it looked amazing on the glass.
Farah says, wife came in and I forgot Pratt was talking about Alien 4 and thought this was his Toyland take, and I was stunned. Just a reminder, right around the corner, Babes in Toyland, which you can watch on Prime Video if you want to hurt yourself. By all means, watch that film for the holiday season. Any other movies you wanted to talk about, Proto, this week?
No, that's all I got to. I had a busy week.
Danny, it's time.
Casey and I fired up one of our Christmas movies we hadn't seen in a while. We watched The Family Stone, which is a favorite of ours. It's very good. It's heavy-ish. Some people like it. Some people don't. I gave it 4 stars. It's just kind of like a son bringing home the daughter to meet the family. Kind of, it plays up in a little bit like a comedy, and there's some funny parts in it, but it's a little bit more heavy. Some of the stuff that it's talked about, I won't spoil too much of it. I enjoy it. I enjoy the cast a lot. It's a lot of fun. I did a rewatch also this week of Fellowship of the Ring extended cut.
Wow.
One of the few absolutely perfect movies ever created. I love that film quite a bit. And then I continued my Jimmy Stewart love fest and watched Anatomy of a Murder. And it's so good, you guys. I really wish you guys would watch it. I see it on your watch lists. I need you guys to watch it at some point.
Every time I hear courtroom drama, I'm just immediately turned off from a movie. Is that a mistake?
It's not a mistake. I'm with you on that. But Jimmy Stewart as a lawyer is amazing. He's defending a guy who killed a guy for raping his wife. So it's really interesting and it's very good. And Jimmy's amazing in it. So I gave that a solid 4 stars. Wow. And besides Babes, that's all I watched this week.
Can you imagine an LOTR month on 70 millimeter?
I dream about it.
Can you imagine it? Maybe that's like a Patreon exclusive, to entice people to join up like Kenneth did this week at our Patreon, at patreon.com/70mm.
We had a threshold.
I'm into it. I would be into an LOTR month. We just got to settle the debate about which versions to watch.
We know what versions to watch. Okay.
There's been a lot of debate online about what's the definitive version. I heard that some of these movies have like 50 minutes of post-credit scenes to get these LOTR One Ring.
You've been listening to other podcasts.
Bat and Spider told me that, the Low Rent Movies podcast. Mike R. in Discord says, start with the animated Hobbit. Listen, Mike, to pull the curtain back, I tried months ago to suggest that as a movie, and I got shot down.
We all
in
tried.
DMs. Harder than I've ever been shot down.
Listen, there's just movies I'm afraid to do with you, Matt. I just got to be honest.
Listen, what if I do a sacrificial offering for RoboCop one month? If sacrificial, I offer up Peter up on a platter, Murph, for this show. Think about it.
Wait, I don't even understand what you're offering right now. You're offering not to do a movie?
No, I'm offering to do one of my top 4s to try to, do an exchange. Like I'll put myself out there to get Danny to put himself out there. If you want him, come and claim him.
See, that's what I'm talking about, Matt. That's what I'm talking
it's
about.
A little insight into our late night Apex comms. We need to keep moving here if we're going to get this into a 30-minute episode with Babes in Toyland.
Or we just keep doing this.
Real quick.
And 15 minutes of Babes.
Right around the corner. Let me quick look at my movies that I watched this week. To the shock of no one, I watched a lot of movies this week. I watched Sound of Metal. A lot of buzz about that movie. I enjoyed that. I gave that 4 stars. I went into the Prime Video archives. Prime Video is like my, local VHS store. They'll have like just about anything in the worst quality possible on Prime Video, and I'll be into it. Watch Wall Street again with Charlie Sheen and Michael Douglas. Doesn't hold up as well as I remember. And then I went and watched the sequel starring Shia LaBeouf, similarly disgraced actor. Money Never Sleeps. It was terrible. Made me wonder if Oliver Stone has any talent left in his body. That's how bad it was. But the main thing I'd probably want to talk about is I watched The Prince of Tides. You ever heard about this? You seen this?
I have not seen it, no.
Barbara Streisand and an actor by the name of Nick Nolte.
How'd you fall into this one, Matt?
It's a good question. I thought this was a Discord recommendation at one point, and I must have been looking at like a Letterboxd list on movies that were nominated for Best Picture, because this was nominated like 7 times that year, and Best Picture was one of them. It didn't win. And I know of it because it's been homaged several times in The Simpsons. But I've never seen the movie. I just know The Simpsons jokes about it.
Oh, God.
So this was on the Criterion Channel app, which I recommend, even though the app is kind of confusing to sort through. And Babs, I really liked Babs in this movie. She plays a psychologist. Nick Nolte plays a Southern boy with a terrible accent who's trying to visit his suicidal sister who is in the care of Babs. And she's having a hard time finding out what happened with this sister. So she asks for his help. Like, can I ask you questions about your childhood to help me get to the bottom of this? Like, you won't be my patient, you'll be helping me. And his marriage is kind of in a really bad spot. So was hers. So through the course of this movie, they kind of like, in a fantastical romantic way, help each other's marriage by having an affair. And it like also shows like the terrible upbringing that they had. I give it 3 stars. So it's not amazing. I can't believe it was nominated for Best Picture, but it's based on a book. So I imagine the book was really good. As I was watching it, I was like, this is probably a really good book. So that's also on Pluto TV if anyone is looking for another alternative to check it out. Caleb says the best Nick Nolte is Warrior. Never heard of that.
Is that a movie?
Writing it down.
It's a boxing movie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, no.
Man, the Letterboxd profile photo of Nick Nolte is atrocious. Look at that right now. Speaking of Letterboxd, if you share the show on social media, you're entered to win a free year of Letterboxd Pro, which is their upgraded account. You get no third-party ads. You get ads taken away. You get personalized stats. And a new feature that they just launched is if you have a movie in your watch list and you have your favorite streaming services set up, like for instance, I had Rafiki still on my watch list from the recent Cinenauts episode, and it just got added to Hoopla. So I got a push notification and an email saying that Rafiki was available on one of my services. So
amazing.
Amazing feature.
Absolutely an amazing feature. So this week's winner for a pro account is Steve J. Bowden on Twitter. Congratulations, Steve.
Congrats.
Also, if you want to just sign up for pro or patron status on Letterboxd, you can get it 20% off on 70mmpod.com. So by all means, support Letterboxd. Support the things you love, and we love Letterboxd. Is it time?
No.
Babes in Toyland. Just to reiterate, this is a direct result of putting this show in the hands of our VHS Village supporters. The Village. The patrons of this show, they took it upon themselves to put this up there. Babes in Toyland, 1986. It's available on Prime Video right now. Let's just stop beating around the bush. Pardo, what is this? What is this movie?
It's Christmas Eve in Cincinnati, and Lisa has a lot to worry about. Her mom and brother are stuck in a blizzard, and her sister Mary is being harassed by her boss. Lisa races to tell her sister to come home, but on the way back, Keanu Reeves drives double the speed limit, sending Lisa out of the trunk and straight into Toyland, a land filled with storybook characters, a toy master, and a nasty curmudgeon named Barnaby Barnacle. Poor Mary Contrary is about to marry Barnaby to save her mother's house. But Lisa Sinsiewicz is not having it. A battle of wits and perseverance transpires as the fight for Toyland rages on, with Barnaby and his army of miscreants on one side and Lisa and the inhabitants of Toyland on the other. Babes in Toyland.
It was a good show, folks.
Thanks everyone for being here. We're just going to skip the voicemails. Next week, Proto's Peck. Listen, I didn't think it was going to be this bad. You know, I thought Mel in Discord, I just want to point out that Mel is I'm holding her directly responsible for this pick. She's not even in Discord right now. She's MIA. She know full well we're recording tonight. She's MIA.
She know.
I thought this was just going to be like one of those fun, bad movies.
Same.
You know? You got Keanu and Drew on the cover. I'm like, okay, these two are going to get into some kind of weird hijinks in like Santa's South Pole, North Pole. Santa's North Pole little, house building toys. Snow everywhere. Maybe Keanu's an elf for all I know. Proto, what's like the first thing on your list? What's the main thing that comes to mind when you're starting to go through our roundtable segment for this movie?
Well, along with that, the thing I noticed first is, I don't know when I came to this realization, but I saw somewhere that it said that this was a made-for-TV movie. And at that point, that's when the lights were going off in my head saying, oh, this isn't a movie. This is a TV movie. This is something different.
Did we know that going into this?
I did not know that by the time we picked this. So I was worried because this is like, I was trying to think of like a comparison. If you have like Disney World and Six Flags, there's like theme parks that are like mom and pop versions that like you can find in like weird corners of, your state that are run by, I don't know, like, a crew of 20 people or whatever. This is the movie version of that. Because, yeah, you're saying there's no talent. I think the problem with this is there's no budget. Like, this shouldn't have been, you shouldn't try to make a TV version of this movie with this budget. Because it just looks ridiculous.
Yeah, you could say this is a Christmas movie, not from Disney, but maybe like Hershey Park presents Babes in Toyland, or Six Flags presents. Like, then you start to get an expectation of what you're getting into in this movie. It looks like it was even filmed in the back of a Six Flags.
Yeah.
Totally. An area that hasn't even been, done over yet. There's dirt everywhere. There's barely any grass. They haven't renovated it, and they start to build these little huts, the toy huts. Danny, what about you? What's going through your mind right now?
I don't know. I feel like because I was like the deciding vote that I've made I know I made a wrong choice. I know that as a fact right now. But man, there was so much promise coming into this. I was really excited to see young Keanu. This was our third Drew Barrymore movie, by the way. For the record.
What's the second one? Besides
Scream.
Oh, yeah.
So, let's just talk about the beginning of this film. When that boss man was talking to Mary, was that her real other name too? The way he talked to her, I knew right then and there that there is no way anything in this movie is going to be good. I was disgusted. I was so frustrated and mad. I was like, how is this even okay? And then when I realized when they get over to Toyland, this was like the doppelganger, like the bizarro version that we had to watch him like almost marry her. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what is going on right now?
Yeah.
I don't even understand the story. Like, I don't even know what they were doing with those go-karts driving around. Like, they could walk faster than those things drove around town. But I was so like, what is going on? The toy shop scene, I was just like mad. I was just over it already.
I was actually curious. Maybe this is just like old school, but did people actually shop that late on Christmas Eve for gifts?
No, there's no way. There's no way.
I think so.
No.
I've gone out on Christmas Eve.
Really? For
toys?
gifts? For your family?
Sure.
My
No.
God. Discord, settle this.
That's
Please.
the hottest time to shop.
What?
Because you got the pressure. You need to get something. It's Christmas Eve. The music's pumping. These people at these stores, they want to get home. They don't want to be there. You got that tension. There's a lot of energy right there on Christmas Eve if you want to go shop. Then when you get those gifts, you get home, you're wrapping till 4 a.m.
This sounds like a nightmare.
Anyone shopping on Christmas Eve,
The energy.
I want you in prison for a day. You need these poor people working on Christmas Eve. I've been there. You don't want to. Why make these people work? You know, society's terrible as it is. Now they got to work for this Yahoo at this toy store. How about Drew Barrymore walking from her house to her job in a snowstorm in a blizzard to warn her that a blizzard's coming?
Nearly breaking her neck on the sidewalk.
Stupid.
She just ate it and got up. They were just keep going, Drew.
Yeah, one take. There were so many takes in this movie that I felt like they just tried once and they just said, we got to keep going. Yep, that's the one. We're going to just use that no matter what.
Yeah, Barnaby was disgusting. Yeah, I mean, you can think this whole dream sequence it is just Barnaby trying to sexually assault Mary. Like, it's disgusting, right?
Yeah, it's gross. Also, I mean, just the overall vibe of this movie, like you're transported to what you assume is like a dreamlike state for Drew's character, where all her family members are in it. The boss is in it. He plays the bad guy. But it sucks. Like this dream world, like you can't dream up a cooler place. It's the middle of the afternoon in what looks to be summer in Arizona. And that's where your dreamland is, your Toyland. Drew, work a little harder to create something fun. I couldn't get it.
Yeah, it's literally a set in a field with like just like these like thrown up walls to show like houses, or like this is Toyland, but like, well, like why does anybody have a mortgage in Toyland? Why is that like the crux of what's going on? Her shoe has a mortgage.
One of my earlier notes, first of all, I have to give props to Keanu and Drew. They acted their little hearts out in this movie. They gave it the college try. You know, this is their gig. They're going to just knock it out. And they did, considering what they had to work with. They get into where I was watching this with Amanda, my dear wife, and Keanu jumps up and is like, my Jeep has 4-wheel drive. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, Keanu's got a Jeep just like me? And then he gets into it. I'm like, that's weird. That doesn't look like a Jeep. That's not a Jeep, Keanu. I would have made them call that what it was. I don't know if that's a 4Runner, some kind of little weasel mobile. That's no Jeep. Drew falls out of the back of it. His Suzuki, I think Grugrex says. Drew falls out of the back of it. Keanu, what are you doing? Get control of your vehicle. The back window just opens up. You have a child back there. I would beat the S out of Keanu for having that vehicle.
Was she sitting on the sled in the car?
No.
I don't know what she. I don't know where that sled came from. It looked like she was sitting in a seat.
She stole. The sister stole the sled because it was a part of her paycheck, or something like that, and gave it to her as a Christmas gift on Christmas Eve.
That was a very
I just
bold
want to call out that Mel has arrived in Discord. Mel, we have been waiting for this moment to show your face. You don't worry about what we said earlier. It's in the past.
You'll hear it.
I will say that the singing, I don't know what the song's called, just the Cincinnati song inside the Jeep. I think that was my favorite part of the movie. There's a lot of that's over the top in this movie. But just seeing Drew and Keanu sing their little hearts out as he is just barreling down this road covered in snow. Like, this guy's going to flip this Suzuki, but he's just gunning it. And they're just belting this song. I love that. Like, I thought that was great.
Welcome to glorious Cincinnati, queen of Ohio's alpine ski resorts. I come from Cincinnati, Cincinnati, the best town in Ohio, USA.
At first they called it Cincy, but since Cincy is so natty, they named it Cincinnati, so they say.
Hey, now the girls are pretty in this gritty little city.
I didn't care for the other songs, but that was okay.
I couldn't believe that the Cincinnati song was real. I couldn't believe it. I was like, is this a song made for the movie, or is this some kind of local Cincinnati thing that's real? Because why ever make a song about Cincinnati? People in Cincinnati, I apologize if you're listening to this. I didn't know it was a thing. Danny, what else is on your list?
I didn't write a list. I told you this movie was not worthy of taking any notes down. I had my notepad out ready, and then we got to the toy store scene, and I'm like, nope. There's nothing. There's nothing worth writing down for this movie. Everything is atrocious in this. The animals. Can we talk about the animal costumes?
No.
What was it supposed to be? Were they supposed to be actual living animals or people in like mascot costumes? I was so
they were
baffled.
supposed to be animals.
You could
Because
see the necks of the humans wearing the heads.
Yeah, you could see you could see like the necks of the toy soldiers like underneath the helmets.
For me, my favorite part of this is Mr. Miyagi as Santa or whatever, the toy maker. I loved him. He looked.
Oh, yeah, he was.
I
good.
wanted to hang out with him. I wanted to be in the toy shop and just hang out with him. But other than that, nothing else.
Was he actually Santa? Because I watched this.
I thought he I think he like delivers the toys to Santa or something.
In chat.
Someone get this straight.
Pat Morita. He has a name.
Just say what I want. I'll say what I want, Mikey.
Yeah, he just paints eyeballs. He's painting an eyeball he paints an eyeball onto that animal. The animal is now blind because the Santa toy maker character puts paint on his eyeball. Like, what? Are you crazy right now?
Yeah. What was that thing called? Trella? So Barnaby has a pet chicken that's about the size of a 3-foot toddler, because I imagine that's what was in the suit. Some small child.
Charlton Heston's kid.
It's an overgrown mutated chicken with a cyclops eyeball that can turn into a mirror that allows Barnaby to spy on anyone in Toyland. And then Lisa paints over that eye, like the raw eye, so that it blinds him. Also, she uses Trella. That scene was amazing. They're all tied up, and then Barnaby releases Trella to eat them. I'm assuming to eat them. And, Trella's doing her best. And then Drew Barrymore is able to, aim herself so that instead of eating her, Trella cuts the ropes that's bound her. She escapes, helps everyone else escape. And then they blind this poor creature.
And lead it to a trunk.
Very disturbing. The whole time, I got to give Drew Barrymore credit. She is a great actor. Like the whole movie, I was like, man, she's good. Like, look at what she's working with, and she's still doing really good. Like, I know she has like a troubled history as a young actor in the business, cocaine allegedly, as a young person, but she's really good.
Alleged.
Like, we all go through this.
My favorite line from Drew is the very beginning of this movie, where her sister says, "I got a Christmas present for you," and Drew says, "Is it a blender?" And her sister says, "No." And then Drew says, "Well, then what is it?" Because the only thing that she could imagine getting is a blender as an 11-year-old.
I must have not been paying attention, but what's her relationship to this family? She's not their daughter. Like, what's she doing? What is her relation to these people?
She's not their daughter?
No, she is their daughter.
Because Mel says she is their daughter, because they kept like talking about her as if she wasn't a member of the family. Like, she referenced to what's-her-face's mother, But that was her. If that wasn't her mother, why would she say your mother?
We're gonna have to watch it.
She's
again.
No.
she's just a freak. Some of my other notes. Why didn't they just banish Barnaby to start the movie? They made it at the end of the movie. They just like pushed them out of their little plot of land behind Six Flags. It didn't look like there was any kind of magic involved or any rules.
Matt, you're asking questions,
I'll
but there
play
are
one.
no answers.
I think because they had to have Mr. Miyagi on their side, because remember he was saying like Barnaby deserves a chance like anybody else. And it wasn't until that, he saw that the true evil that Barnaby had.
He's forcing a young girl into marriage. And the toy maker decided that wasn't enough. He's just still painting eyeballs and having his little soldier people in the closet moving because they're human beings in soldier costumes.
And everyone in the town knows Jack loves her and she loves Jack. Why are they allowing this to happen?
It's nonsense. How about that grim?
And then Miyagi tried to play the like he still has good in his heart or something card at one point. I'm like, no.
I
This man's a
thought
rapist.
that Barnaby was going to turn around and marry Mother Goose at the end. Like they were hinting at that they were going to have a relationship. Like Lisa was like lining these two up. She was playing matchmaker. I thought that would have been a wonderful ending to have those two come together.
She was showing a lot of cleavage.
Oh, baby.
In her
I'm
dress.
glad you brought that up. I noticed
it
that
was
as well.
it was really out of place, if I can be honest with you. My son walked in and I thought I was gonna have to like fast forward through a few of these scenes. This G-rated movie.
Mary Contrary was also shown a little flesh as well.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what network this aired on. I don't know if it was Spice or otherwise at the time, made for TV film. The other note I was gonna say
PBS.
The other thing, my son came in during the last half of this movie. He was so pissed. He's like, this movie sucks. Like, this movie is so dumb. He could not have art babes in Toyland. He couldn't have been any more disturbed by what was going on screen. He laughed so loud when the toy maker's sled flew across the screen in a straight line in front of the moon. He was aghast as a near 10-year-old at what he was saying.
Just going down my notes here.
Please.
If this movie were to be remade, I would like Sean Astin to play Georgie Porgy. I think he'd be a dead ringer for that role. Maybe when he was younger. Oh, actually, I think he should have been cast when this happened as Georgie
Josh
Porgy.
Gad now.
Yeah.
No, Josh Shad's going to do the read through on YouTube using his AirPods, sounding like total dog ass. Let me just see what else I have on this list. Oh yeah, I think I noticed that like Keanu was like third build or fourth build in the opening credits, and I started to be like, oh no, he's barely even in this movie. It was one of those like posters, DVD covers that had nothing to actually reference the real movie. Like he was barely even in it. The Toyland song, just absolutely dreadful. When they sing, my note was when they sing that song, God, this sucks. No one knows what Cincinnati is.
The classic like Toyland song? Like Toyland.
There was a few songs that just like popped up out of nowhere and I was like, oh God, this is terrible. No, we didn't. Chuck asked if we talked about Georgie's pants. No. He looked like the penguin, the way his his legs and rear end were shaped in those pants.
Yes.
Vibes.
Yeah, I didn't understand how the people didn't know what Cincinnati was, and yet the toy maker knew what like Italy was, or Grimm asked if it was like something like an Italian cookie. Like the references to the outside world were really confusing to me. The toy maker knew about Cincinnati and Pete Rose. That was something that struck out at me.
Oh my God, the way they talked about Pete Rose. Lord have mercy.
Very strange.
Like King of Cincinnati or something.
Mm-hmm.
Was he? Before he was a cheater or whatever?
No, this is 1986.
Disgraced Pete Rose?
Yeah, he's...
Yeah, he was primarily a Cincinnati Red.
I know, but when was his like gambling scandal? I guess it was around this time, mid-'80s, so maybe it was close. Anything else on your list?
I mean, I have other things written down, but they're just like random like thoughts that
Let's
I had.
do it. Run through them.
All right, I'll just run through them real quick. The commercial cuts in this were hilarious because they're just like obviously cut for commercials. The police bears are useless. I don't know why you even have police at this stage if they're not doing anything. I don't like, were muskets and cannons really necessary at the end there? This poor forest. Oh, Barnaby's cave was legit. Of anything in this, the thing that I thought was most legit was his like creatures that he had. It was giving me like Princess Bride vibes, from the forest. I was like, okay, I can, I'm down with this. That was pretty good. Could this possibly be the John Wick origin story? I don't know. I haven't seen those movies, but Keanu. And then who are the babes in Toyland?
Well, I think we know.
I think we know based on the fashion conversation.
The cleavage.
Yeah. The inappropriate cleave.
Mm-hmm. This whole movie was inappropriate.
I haven't seen Princess Bride in a very long time. Is that a cult movie? You could classify that as a cult movie.
Excuse me? Are we talking cults?
Are we talking cult movies?
Oh, yeah, that's a cult movie.
For an upcoming month? I don't know. Stay tuned. Some of my other notes, that's actually most of it. I had one other, the marriage at the end of this movie. They sing a song that is just so terrible, but it combines a birthday song, a Christmas song, and a wedding song into one song.
Yeah.
I blocked out most of the songs.
Golly.
Blocked out most of this movie. I couldn't do it.
We could have. There was a lot of responses. I referenced it earlier. A lot of social media buzz about this and what we could have done. Christmas Story could have been this episode. I asked on IG some questions about what is the worst movie you've ever seen. So I think maybe we can get to some of those responses. I was inundated in our IG inbox. It was like Danny's DMs when he's selling prints and people don't read the description of when to buy the print and they're DMing him. That's what it felt like. All right, that's Babes in Toyland. We have to talk about ratings before we get into our voicemails and letters. We do have some of those. Danny, on your Letterboxd account, what's the rating going to be for Babes in Toyland?
I was trying to figure out how to make sure that this is the lowest rated movie that I could possibly have on Letterboxd. So I don't know if I have to leave it at 0 stars or just maybe 1/2 star. But I can't. This is a terrible movie. I mean, it's absolutely terrible. This is. I'm gonna say 1/2 star. I guess this is a 1/2 star movie. I never want to see this again. Yeah, no, thank you. This was horrific. I'm mad at myself for even breaking the voting tie to pick this movie. I was bamboozled with the fact that Keanu was in it. So yeah, no, thank you. 1/2 star.
Total bamboozle move.
This is lower than I would watch every Muppet movie before I'd ever see this again.
I don't even know if you can do 0 stars. I mean, you could.
I have 0 stars right now.
You can delete stars. I don't know if that classifies as 0 stars. Some of the friends of the show do have some ratings here. Matthew Zavala has 1 star. Mikey P, 1.5 star. Forrest, 1 star. He calls it a monster piece. Mel, I think we have a voicemail from Mel, 1 star. Because I got to look at Keanu's face. Grugrox 2. Mike Rappin 1.5. 0 stars from Ren Mike D. I'm not even sure if you finished it.
Why would you?
That's a good question.
I wish I would have watched this with my kids. Because I would have liked to have gotten their perspective on this. I think they might have enjoyed this. I think this might have held my daughter's attention. Also, this is a made-for-TV movie, so I think you have to give it some grace in that department. But even with that, it's pretty poor, even for like made-for-TV. But I don't know. In some ways, I just feel like I have to handicap it for that reason. So I'm going to give it 2 stars.
Jesus Christ!
Wow,
handicap
2 stars. Is that what you gave All or Nothing? Chuck's episode?
Yeah.
That is the same rating as All or Nothing. I'm going to throw up.
I stand by it.
I'm going to throw up. Preemptive apology to Chuck. when he hears this, if he wakes up from passing out. My rating, I don't think I've ever given anything 0 stars. I don't know if it's like a class, like if I can do it physically, technically, but the easy half star. This is trash movie. Actually, now that I think about it, when you look at the poster on Letterboxd, it almost looks like Drew is in an earlier version of Midsummer. She's wearing like a flower headdress. It's pretty funny looking.
This was the inspiration of Midsummer.
Yeah, it's, you know, it is what it is. We'll get into some IG suggestions on what people think their worst movie of all time. I think we got a few Babes in Toyland responses, but for now, we need to venture into our voicemails and letters. If you want to shoot us one, you can go to 70mmpod.com. There's a link to do so. We got a few coming in from our boy Tim Hamilton, catching up in the backlog. Tim says, hey, 70mm, I'm a dedicated Bat and Spider listener who stops by 70mm now and then to peek in the window. Enjoyed your Spider-Verse episode. Disturbed by your Muppet Carol episode as one of you, I shall not speak his name, does not like the Muppets, not even the original show. Disturbing.
Say my name, Tim.
The 10 Commandments. I was also brought up in the church, so I can't watch that again. Not until the lawsuits are settled. Disturbing. We'll be watching A Wonderful Life, though. You know Alfalfa from The Little Rascals is in it, don't you? Yes, he is. See if you can spot him. Listen, I wonder if he was one of those kids in the ice scene.
Wasn't he young?
Was he young Jimmy? Stop it. A connection between...
He opens the pool.
Oh,
yeah. That is him.
Tim also follows up a connection between 10 Commandments and Carl Dean Alfalfa, who appears in A Wonderful Life. Carl Dean Switzer was shot to death on the same day Cecil B. DeMille died. Coincidence? That comes from Fact Finder, Tim.
What the hell?
Okay.
That is eerie. Let us never speak of that again.
I'm getting chilled.
This episode.
I'm getting chilled up. Do you guys feel that after that revelation?
It's cool.
There's like some kind of temporal disturbance that I feel. I'm not sure if anyone else can feel that. Let's check our voicemails out.
Hello, 70 millimeter podcast. It's Scotty Young.
Oh, no.
Not on my walk. I'm at my office. I don't go on the walks as much anymore for 2 reasons. It's very cold outside, and now I have a Peloton. So now I'm one of those people who can't stop talking about their Peloton.
Oh,
Just
God.
listened to
Cut the
It's
stream.
a Wonderful Life episode. And I, too, saw It's a Wonderful Life for the first time just a few years ago. Somehow I missed it. It's a very, very good movie, but I will have to say I was frustrated at how much of a Christmas movie it is not. I had seen every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. I've seen that scene probably 402 times in my life. So was absolutely waiting for this Christmas movie. I think I'm not even one of the people who thinks Die Hard 2 is a Christmas movie.
Thank you.
Or Die Hard. I'm not a person who thinks Lethal Weapon is a Christmas movie. I don't hate on those people, but I'm just not one of those people. But those movies all feel more like Christmas movies than It's a Wonderful Life.
Mm-hmm.
The cover of every DVD or Blu-ray or thumbnail online has it in front of Christmas trees and ornaments, and it's so Christmassy. And you watch that movie, and it's just a really good movie about a sad, depressing situation, and not about Christmas until you get to the end, and then there's a Christmas tree, and then people are like, "Hey, it's a Christmas movie." So, anyway, I gotta go. I gotta go get in my Peloton. I'm one of those people now. Bye.
Scotty Young. You know, I know another person that has a Peloton, and I'll tell you what, it's a cult, and they won't stop talking about it.
Yeah, I agree.
It makes you wonder where do you draw the line as to what makes a movie a Christmas movie? You know, like how much?
I thought you were going to say, where do you draw the line about talking about Peloton?
I know, but like, you know, like how much Christmas do you need? Like, what's the rule?
Yeah.
Is it more of a feeling than it is like
where's the
a
line?
science? Can someone show me the line?
Yeah. Do we make the line? We're the only movie podcast.
No podcast had ever tried to determine the line. Thanks for the call, Scotty, as always. Next voicemail.
What's up, 70 Mel? This is Forrest calling in to talk about Babes in Toyland 1986. Shout out to whoever in the village pointed out that this was made for TV. Kind of feel like I should have looked that up beforehand and might have changed my perspective a good bit. This movie was bananas from start to finish. Maybe the thing that stuck out the most to me, other than Barnaby's beautiful black butterfly hat for the wedding, what a look, was Mary's outfit to start the movie off. I don't think I've ever seen anyone put on that many layers, that much clothing, and still look like they're about to freeze to death as soon as they walk out the door. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this monster piece as much as I did, and I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Love you. Bye.
Oh my God. Love you, Forrest. Is Forrest starting a podcast? What kind of rig has he got over there?
He's got a rig.
He just updated his rig. Oh my God. Yeah, she looked like she was wearing one of those outfits that Catwoman turned into her costume in Batman Returns, those like thin leather, plastic jacket. Thanks for the call, Forrest. We need to get to the mastermind behind this whole episode herself before we run off into the night.
Hey, it's Mel. I would like to apologize for suggesting Babes in Toyland. I still can't believe that it got picked. And I would like to remind everyone that it's Danny's fault that you all had to watch this movie. But I would like to offer something as a way to heal from this.
Oh, okay.
Which is my impression of Gollum as Jimmy Stewart in It's a Wonderful Life.
This is a very interesting situation, my precious.
Oh my God.
I can't right now. Oh my God.
I wonder if she waited until Chuck was out of the room for that, or if he was just at his computer with his eyes darting left to right.
Never been done. I didn't know you could do that. Two personas at once.
Oh, Mel.
Unreal.
Mel does it again. I asked on IG, what's the worst movie you've ever seen? I'll just breeze through. We got a bunch of responses. Someone in Discord just watched this. Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. Have you guys seen that?
I think whoever watched it gave it a terrible review too.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Maybe it was Mel. We got a vote for Troll 2, followed by Joker.
Oh, someone's trying to get at somebody.
Something to think about. Mikey P says Nick and Nora's is great. Show yourself. Babes in Toyland, 3 Men and a Little Lady.
Wow.
Holiday Inn.
Wow.
Old Boy 2013. Oh my gosh. Raging Bull.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Someone wants to fight.
Should have been a vote between Christmas Story and White Christmas.
Well, I would have picked Christmas Story because White Christmas sucks.
I don't think I've ever seen White Christmas. All of the spoof movies, disaster movie, date movie, etc. Hubie Halloween.
Oh.
Wow.
Hubie's better than Babes.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Tiptoes, 2003. Classic cult hated movie. Cloverfield.
Excuse me? I want them banned. Ban them.
Oh my God. Birdemic. Justice League.
Okay, I can see that.
Listen, I should we just make it official that we're going to do that new Justice League?
Oh, God.
This podcast when that comes out? All 4 hours of that?
Jesus Christ.
The cut.
Wizard of Oz is in here.
I know a lot of people that hate Wizard of Oz.
Really?
Yeah. I haven't seen it in ages.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Caleb says Last Jedi. Can one of you ban Caleb, real quick,
mods,
because I got to look through this.
This is a free country.
Caleb, you're gone. A Sound of Thunder.
What is that?
That was a movie based on that book, the time travel stuff. Catcher, co-host of Cinernauts, Open Water or Prince of Persia.
I haven't seen either of those.
Art says Wizard of Oz kicks off musicals month. Wow. Is Art producing right now?
Someone is.
He's muscling his way into
Art's
the
looking for
producer
a
chair.
gig. And I'll tell you what,
I
Art,
think
you're doing a pretty good job.
Dale is squirming right now in the booth. I see it.
Dale is sweating in the box right now, the glass box. Mikey P says Crash, either version. Have I ever talked about Crash on this podcast? Or
You have. It's somewhere in there, Matt.
It's bad. Jesus. Danny doesn't want to hear about it. The Other Sister, Anchorman 2, Ava, The Pest.
Wait, The Other Sister's not a terrible... What?
I've never seen that movie.
Giovanni and...
Giovanni Ribisi?
Right? And I can't remember her name from Christmas Story.
Spider-Man 3 featuring
Juliet,
Gerard
you,
Way
Mel.
from My Chemical Romance. Ouch. Juliette Lewis.
Drawing a blank.
I still can't get over this Raging Bull. I might have to DM this person to get some more info.
I was just thinking about Raging Bull. I haven't seen that, and I was thinking.
Oh,
you were thinking?
About it.
Well, let me just, before we get to the final segment, just kind of brace people. Proto has next pick, and he's not constrained to any kind of holiday. This is the last episode of December, and we're about to get to it. We don't know anything about it. And one other final vote, and I'm not going to read them all. The Predator 2018.
Yeesh.
Shane Black does it again.
Yeesh.
You know? Hollywood golden boy. So that's that. Do we have anything else to announce before we get to Proto's pick? I guess we should just shout out the responses to the pins. I just want to thank everyone for their support on our storefront this past month. It's been out of control. And also give props to Denny for having to ship out all that stuff.
Thank you.
Proto and I sitting pretty over here, not having to ship jack. So that is this episode. But before we wrap up, we have to find out what we're doing next week. Next week, you know, the holiday stuff is behind us. It's time for Proto to tell us where he's going to take us next week. And I believe we'll be recording another night earlier, just FYI to folks hanging out in Discord. But Proto, can you help us out here?
Not only is this the last pick of December, this is the last movie of 2020 for the 70 millimeter podcast. You know, we just covered Babes in Toyland, 1986. Maybe the low point of this show. This is the end of a year. This has been a hard year for everybody. Okay. And we're not going off. We're not ending it in Babes in Toyland territory. So I have some personal news. This ties into what's going on here. My little sister is getting married.
Oh no.
It's supposed to be New Year's Day.
Oh my God.
New Year's Day. She's getting married. And she is marrying actually one of our patrons.
Wait, what?
Excuse me.
We have a patron.
Excuse me.
His name, he goes by the name of B. Sandberg. B. Sandberg in the Discord.
Congratulations, B. Sandberg.
He is maybe our only film buff here. He actually goes to a lot of what do they call those?
Festivals.
What do those film buffs go to? Yeah,
TIFFs.
film festivals.
Yeah.
He goes to those. So he really loves movies, and he's recommended a movie. So when we've done recommendations from patrons, there's been one movie that has continued to pop up for him. So I thought, what kind of gift could I give to my future brother-in-law? Why not pick a movie that is near and dear to his heart? So B. Sandberg, this one's for you. He's mentioned this. This is a movie that has actually we've talked about all year long. Some of our patrons have watched it, and they have given stunning reviews. No one speaks ill of this movie. The movie that we're going to watch, that we're going to end 2020 with, is the 2000 In the Mood for Love.
Oh my gosh. The buzz around this movie is through the roof in my Letterboxd feed.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's been talking about it.
Do you want to just give people a taste of what this movie's about?
This is what's on Letterboxd. It says, feel the heat, keep the feeling burning, let the sensation explode.
This has a 4.4 on Letterboxd.
Mm-hmm.
Holy moly.
Wow, what a pick. I saw these reviews coming through and I was getting nervous. I was like, do I got to see this movie? So now it's happening.
It's happening.
This is on HBO Max. HBO Max sponsorship confirmed, Mike says in chat. I can't confirm.
Why? Yes, Chuck.
I can't confirm if we've been in, initial early discussions with the people at HBO Max working something out, but we're just happy to help any way we can at HBO Max.
Dale's saying to cut it.
Sorry, I got to delete that. I got to cut that out of the edit.
Out of everyone I follow on Letterboxd, not one review dips below 4 stars.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Is this going to save 2020 for 70 millimeter?
My gosh. I'm excited about this. Good pick, Proto. Good job. I'm excited. Very excited. Someone said Father the Bride. I was like, oh God, he's picking Father.
There was like 5 Father the Bride.
He's doing it.
Thoughts in Discord.
Oof.
I'm excited. Well, thank you everyone for hanging out with us in Discord. Thanks everyone for subscribing and listening to the show. Thanks to all our new listeners. Ever since the pins came out, I know a bunch of new folks have come to discover 70mm. And with our Babes in Toyland episode, I know a bunch of folks have now left 70mm. So hopefully they return in the near future, maybe after this next episode. Proto, any closing thoughts as we enter the Christmas season and end this episode?
This has been a hard year for a lot of people. This has been a hard episode for a lot of people. This movie here. But the things that are difficult, they say it only makes you stronger. And I think all of us coming through Babes in Toyland, we're only going to get stronger, closer, and love each other a little bit more. So I see a bright future ahead of us.
Mr. Positivity himself. We'll see everybody next week. Thanks for hanging out. 70mm is a VHS Village production and produced by Dale_A. Sponsored by Half Double Design. Original artwork provided by Danny Haas. Spiritual guidance provided by Protolexis. This episode was mixed and edited by me, Slim. You can support our Patreon for early access to episodes, discounts on prints, a physical membership card mailed to you, and receive an invite to our Discord to talk movies with other villagers. Special thanks to the good people at Letterboxd, and for a chance to win a pro Letterboxd account, share the show and tag us on social media at 70MMPod. Goodbye.
This is a very interesting situation, my precious.